Get ready for your daily dose of marketing strategies and tactics from entrepreneurs with the guile and experience to help you find success in any marketing capacity. You're listening to Marketing School with your instructors, Neil Patel and Eric Su.
Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about how you can create content that people actually search for. Neil, what are your thoughts around this?
Sure. So, funny enough, Eric and I were at a conference the other day, and I was talking to one of my buddies, Sean Ellis. And Sean Ellis was talking to me a site called SaaStr. And he was telling me how that site, SaaStr, gets 3 million visitors a month. I'm like, first, that's hard for me to believe, right? And he was breaking down how he was doing it. The big thing he was doing is, and this part does make sense. I don't know if he's getting 3 million, but the part that does make sense is Jason is one of the most active people on Quora. He's answering those questions. And what's impressive is not that he was answering a lot of questions. The strategy he used, which was take that question, put it on the blog, and put the answer also on your blog. So then when people are Googling for these questions, because on Quora, you start seeing a lot of popular questions. The ones that are popular means that a lot of people have that same question. And if you start answering those questions on your website, eventually you'll get a ton of search traffic. So you can just go to like saastr.com/Quora, saastr.com/Quora, or in the navigation, just look at Q&A, and you can see live examples of how Jason is doing this. This is what's getting him a ton of his traffic. So test it out, and what you'll see is people naturally Google questions that they have, and if you answer those questions, you will get a ton of traffic.
Wow, I'm actually doing that right now. I didn't know he had this section specifically for Quora, but what I will add is something basic. Keyword research, right? You can use tools like Google Keyword Tool. You can use keywordtool.io. You can also use Ubersuggest. It's .io or .com or .org, one of those. Ubersuggest, just Google it. You can also use answerthepublic.com. So a couple different tools there. And then also Neil just mentioned Q&A sites, right? You have Quora. Yahoo Answers is outdated, but you can take a look at it. If you're in a really, dated niche, you can check it out, or a niche that isn't, doing much online. Definitely check out Yahoo Answers. Moz also has its keyword tool as well, and Ahrefs also has its new keyword tool. So there's a lot of different tools out there. You pick your poison in terms of what you want to go with, and then, figure out what you want to do after you have the right keywords selected. And one other thing I'll add before I turn it back over to Neil is if you have a staff, if you have a team, get together with your team, right? People can talk about what actually concerns them, because these are human beings too. Human beings are searching for this stuff. So what do you think is a good topic? And then you can have your team vote on it too. This is something we do about once every 2 weeks or so. We'll just get in a room, we'll bang out a lot of different ideas. Everyone gets 5 or 10 minutes or so. We just throw in a bunch of ideas in the Excel sheet, and then we'll vote on these ideas, or we'll debate on these ideas. Use your staff too. These people have great ideas. You hired them for a reason, because they're all A players, right? Hopefully. So ask your staff, what questions do they get asked? What's on their mind? And then also bring in perhaps sales reps. You can bring in customer support people too to help out.
Yeah, and funny enough, I'm on Jason Lemkin's Quora page. He has 27.3 million answer views. He's answered 2,084 questions on Quora, which is a shit ton. Funny enough, if I can find someone smart, I would just hire him full time and just have him answer. I can probably do this, scaled out in a way quicker and probably a more effective way. Because I'm looking at his Q&A pages on his blog. They're not thorough enough to get a ton of Google traffic in the long run. If you combine some of these pages and had more thorough content, right? Like this goes back to Google Hummingbird update, you would probably get way more search traffic.
So his 3 million's not really 3 million. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't think his 3 million is 3 million. There's no possible way, right? Like from a Google perspective, if I let's go look at SaaStr. I'm pulling up Ahrefs right now. It'll tell me how much Google traffic, right? Because you can't be getting 1 million type-in visitors, people just searching SaaStr a day. And if that's the case, I'll find out right now. So I'm looking up his domain in Ahrefs, and Ahrefs is off from the traffic standpoint. But rule of thumb is like whatever they're showing for search traffic, someone's usually getting 4x that. So it's loading up the URL. It's not loading for me. It's kind of being slow on my end. But as it loads, I'll report back to it. Nonetheless, another tactic that you could end up using to get really good search traffic is go to Ahrefs, as we're talking about it, put in your competitor URLs, click on organic keywords, and it shows you the content that's driving most of your competitor search traffic and the keywords that they're ranking for. go create similar articles that are way more in-depth and thorough. You can then even go take some of those keywords, put in another tool called Market Muse and the URLs, and it'll tell you how to create content that's more thorough than your competition. It'll tell you like, oh, add in this keyword or add in this phrase. And once you do that, what you'll find is over time you'll outrank them because your article is more thorough on that topic than your competition. It's not total word count, it's thoroughness. Google's looking at topic relevance. So if you covered all angles of that topic, then you're much more likely to rank higher.
All right. One other thing that you can add, or a couple of things here. Look at your search features, right? If you have on-site search, look at what people are searching for on your site. Hopefully you have that set up. If you don't, you can just Google how you can set up site search using Google, and they'll help you out with that. And then also look at what people are typing too in the comments on your blog post. If you have a chat feature like intercom.io, you can see what people are looking for too. Oftentimes if people are reading the blog post, or they've come to it a couple times, we might say, hey, we've noticed that you visited a couple times. What else would you like to see next? You can even survey your audience to see what they want to see next, and then also look at your top performing posts. If there's a couple of top performers, you can look at breaking out, perhaps some of the subheaders and making them complete posts on their own. So that's just a couple more ways that you can go about it.
Yeah, and then if you really want a ton of search traffic, what you'll end up finding is creating cornerstone pieces of content is what generates the most traffic. It's like the basic stuff, but not just covering it from a basic standpoint, but turning it also into an advanced piece. So for example, if you look at what's ranking really highly for the keyword SEO, it's an article by Search Engine Land called What is SEO? Now, it's not just about talking about here's SEO and here's what it is in the basic format. It's also talking about here's some additional resources, here's some advanced content around SEO. In essence, it's like guides, right? Like thorough resources. The cornerstone pieces of content, they're the ones that rank the best in the long run. And that's the content that a lot of people search for. A good example is also Wikipedia. Wikipedia does this over and over again. That's why they get so much traffic, right? I doubt Wikipedia gets less than 100 million unique visitors a month from Google. In other words, they're getting more than 100 million, right? Like, I doubt that there's a day where they're getting less than, or a month where they're getting less than 100 million unique visitors just from Google. And why? Because they have these cornerstone pieces of content on literally like every topic out there. So don't just create content, create like amazing cornerstone piece of content, then also put in a really fancy design. Because when you do this, people are like, oh, wow, this is really good. I got to share it. And then speaking on the SaaS, I can't load it up on Ahrefs. It just keeps says it's waiting. It's like, damn, this Ahrefs, the moment I need it, it's like down. But in general, if you look at SaaS and Ahrefs, I doubt that they get that much traffic.
If you look at OkCupid's blog, the thing that made their blog stand out is just the data that they were pulling out, right? Data around dating that nobody else had. So when you have a unique spin on something, just think about the data that you have that's unique. And if not, hire out researchers that can help you with that. That's something that we're doing right now. We're studying, I think, we're studying a ton of backlinks in different categories, but we're having somebody that's been out there and done that before, and they're going to help us with it. So think about a unique spin that you can have, and then that's going to make you stand out, especially when you're in a crowded space like marketing. It becomes a lot tougher. So Neil, what are you seeing with SaaStr right now?
Yeah, so on SEMrush it says they get 1.5 thousand organic keywords. Now their number's probably way higher than that, but there's no way they're getting 3 million visits from Google. Their strategy still works. It's good and it's worth replicating. The SEMrush data is going to be off because these guys are in such a niche that most people don't type in for. And I know where SEMrush and all these people are getting their data for. It's, I believe, a company called Jumpshot, antivirus company, which is on like 100 million computers or whatever it may be. And most of these people aren't typing in venture capital related terms, so the traffic's going to be off. But they may be getting like 100, 200,000 visitors from Google a month if they're doing extremely well. That tactic does work. It's just don't expect it to drive you like 10 million visitors or anything like that, but it can easily get you 1,000+ visitors a day.
Yeah, and it certainly does. I mean, not everything has to go into search all the time. Neil and I like to talk about content and SEO, but when you look at SaaStr as a brand, he has a big conference now in San Francisco, and I think he's also building an incubator too. So he has a lot of stuff going on, and I think it certainly helped him as a venture capitalist, have deal flow go towards his way. So, I think it's an interesting strategy. Clearly it's worked for him, so maybe it might work for you. Anything else to add, Neil?
That's pretty much it.
All right, that's it for today's episode. Give us your thoughts and give us more topic ideas too. We'll see you tomorrow.
This session of Marketing School has come to a close. Be sure to subscribe for more daily marketing strategies and tactics to help you find the success you've always dreamed of. And don't forget to rate and review so we can continue to bring you the best daily content possible. We'll see you in class tomorrow, right here on Marketing School.